Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started.
OG Bloodline members Jey Uso and Roman Reigns will both compete in marquee matches at WrestleMania 41. Jey will challenge for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, while Reigns is set for a huge triple threat match. However, the Yeet Man could play a major role in his cousin's match at the grandest stage of them all. Jey's brother Jimmy Uso was viciously taken out by Gunther on last week's episode of Monday Night Raw. The ring general left Jimmy in a bloody mess, with Jey forced to watch as he was tied to the ring by the World Heavyweight Champion. On this week's episode of The Red Brand, Jey came out wearing all black gear and was extremely serious during his confrontation with Gunther. He also refused to yeet with the WWE Universe, which could be signs of a potential change of character for the #1 contender. Since Gunther's brutal attack, Reigns hasn't checked up on Jimmy, nor has he asked for an update on his cousin's condition. This has once again left Jey all by himself. Interestingly enough, Jey had previously agreed to return to the OG Bloodline, helping out the OTC in his war against the new Bloodline at Survivor Series, War Games. Reigns' decision to not check up on his cousins could lead to Jey costing the OTC his match against Seth Rollins and CM Punk at WrestleMania 41. Jey declared on Raw that he wants to win the World Heavyweight Championship for his family, but at the moment, with Jimmy out injured, he has no family members around him, despite Reigns being an integral part on the road to WrestleMania 41. Bill Apter praised Jey Uso for his mic skills on WWE Raw. Bill Apter praised Jey Uso for his mic skills on this week's episode of Monday Night Raw. He was impressed with the aggression on display by the 39-year-old superstar. Speaking on Unscripted, Apter discussed the idea of Gunther getting bloodied while wearing a white shirt, but WWE kept things classy. He said, "Jey Uso's verbal tirade at Gunther last night really got to me in a good way. He showed more, I am gonna call it schmaltz, in his face-to-face with Gunther. And there was no attack. People are saying, the guy just almost killed your brother, aren't you gonna attack him? They didn't do that. And I was waiting for him because Gunther was wearing a white shirt which blood would have looked wonderful, aka, like Dusty Rhodes used to do in his white shirt blood. But they kept it classy, and the anger that Jey Uso displayed on Raw, I thought was pretty damn good." Jey will aim to dethrone Gunther and win his first WWE World Championship at the grandest stage of them all. For years, Roman Reigns had reigned supreme at the very top of WWE. The tribal chief, the self-proclaimed head of the table, had built an empire with the bloodline that seemed unbreakable. Title defenses at WrestleMania became almost routine, each challenger falling like dominoes beneath the weight of Reigns' power, strategy, and ruthlessness. Yet, heading into WrestleMania 41, there was a storm brewing, and not just in the form of his opponent, but from within his own blood. That storm had a name: Jey Uso. On the surface, the bloodline appeared mended. After months of turmoil in 2023 and 2024, including betrayals, brutal fights, and uneasy truces, it seemed like they had finally found common ground. Roman, Solo Sikoa, and Jey had reunited publicly, presenting a united front once again. Paul Heyman spun the narrative of family unity, of forgiveness, of blood over everything. But anyone paying close attention knew better. Anyone who saw the fire behind Jey's eyes knew, things were not as they seemed. The tension crackled like a live wire beneath the surface. Roman Reigns, in all his wisdom, had overlooked one simple truth: while a man may forgive, his heart never forgets. WrestleMania 41 was set to be another crowning moment for Reigns. His opponent? Cody Rhodes, looking to finish his story at last. The stage was enormous, Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, packed with over 60,000 fans, the pyrotechnics illuminating the desert sky. Roman walked in with his usual swagger, the Universal Championship glistening over his shoulder, his bloodline at ringside. Heyman's eyes were wide with confidence. Solo Sikoa stood stoic, ready for war. And Jey Uso? Jey wore a mask of loyalty, but beneath it, he was a man at war with himself. Because Jey Uso's reason to cost Roman Reigns everything wasn't about championship gold. It wasn't about jealousy. It wasn't even about the countless times Roman had humiliated him on worldwide television. It was about freedom. For years, Jey had lived under Roman's shadow. He had bent the knee, followed orders, sacrificed friendships, sacrificed his brother Jimmy, and even sacrificed his own self-respect for the sake of family. Roman always called it protection, claiming to shield the family legacy, but Jey saw it differently now. Roman's protection felt like a gilded cage, and Jey Uso was tired of being the loyal hound chained to the tribal chief's throne. WrestleMania 41 became Jey's moment of clarity. The match between Cody and Roman was an instant classic, hard-hitting, emotional, the crowd hanging on every near fall. Roman, as always, pulled every trick in the book. Referee distractions, Heyman's interference, even a timely Samoan spike from Solo Sikoa. It seemed inevitable that Roman would once again walk out as champion. But then, the pivotal moment arrived. The referee was down, flattened after an accidental spear from Reigns himself. Cody Rhodes, barely standing, crawled toward his destiny. Roman signaled to Jey at ringside, barking orders like always, "Get the chair. End this." Jey grabbed the steel chair, feeling its cold weight in his hands. He slid into the ring, standing over Cody. The crowd roared, sensing a crossroads. Roman shouted again, "Do it, Jey. For the family." But something inside Jey snapped. For too long, he had done Roman's bidding. For too long, he had silenced the voice in his head that whispered, "You deserve better." In that moment, Jey Uso chose freedom over fear. Instead of smashing Cody, he swung the chair, full force, into Roman Reigns' ribs. The stadium exploded. Heyman's eyes bulged in shock. Solo Sikoa lunged, but Jey, fueled by years of pent-up rage, cracked Solo with the chair as well, sending him tumbling out of the ring. Roman staggered, disbelief written across his face as he looked up at the man he had once called his right-hand man. "You were never my chief," Jey spat, fire in his voice. "I was just too scared to see it." The crowd chanted in unison, "Uso! Uso! Uso!" Cody, seizing the moment, delivered the crossroads, not once, not twice, but 3 times. The referee, groggy but awake, counted the pin. 1, 2, 3. The unthinkable had happened. Roman Reigns' historic reign had ended, not just because of Cody Rhodes' determination, but because Jey Uso had chosen liberation over loyalty. As confetti rained from the rafters, Cody celebrated atop the turnbuckle, finally finishing his story. But the real story unfolded in the ring between two cousins, two men bound by blood but torn apart by betrayal and control. Roman, clutching his ribs, stared up at Jey with a mixture of rage and heartbreak. Paul Heyman pleaded with Jey, trying to rationalize, trying to salvage what was left of the bloodline. But Jey simply dropped the chair at Roman's feet, the symbolic shackle of his past life, and exited the ring to a thunderous ovation. Outside the ring, Jey paused atop the entrance ramp. He turned back once, locking eyes with Roman. No words were needed. The message was clear: Jey Uso was no longer anyone's pawn. He was no longer main event Jey Uso because Roman allowed it. He was Jey Uso, free, proud, and finally in control of his own destiny. In the days and weeks following WrestleMania 41, the WWE Universe couldn't stop talking. Was this the true end of the bloodline? Would Roman seek revenge? What would this mean for Solo Sikoa's loyalty? But one thing was certain: Jey Uso's act of rebellion wasn't about greed, fame, or envy. It was about breaking free from the chains of manipulation. It was about claiming his own legacy, not as Roman Reigns' enforcer, but as his own man. And for that one powerful reason, freedom, Jey Uso did what no one else had dared to do. He brought down the tribal chief,